Rev up your engines!
247 says, Scotty, I got no weight Accord 2.4, 128,000 miles. My dealership recommends I get my transmission fluid flushed. It's never been done. Is it safe to do at this mileage? No. They're idiots. Don't ever listen to people like that. One, I'd advise never to flush an automatic transmission unless you got an old junker that barely moves and you're doing for a last resort to try to squeeze some more mileage out of them. Go ahead and try. But something like that, no. Just drain and fill. Hondas are simple. They got a drain plug. You open it, out it comes, close it, put it in the fill plug. That's it. It's not rocket science, but do not flush it. They are idiots telling you to flush a vehicle that old. Nayatao says, Scotty, I just bought a 2015 Lexus IS 250 F Sport all-wheel drive. That's 43,000 miles. How are the engines? The dealership I bought it from has a warranty forever, but the thing is you have to take it to them for maintenance. Well, that's a real scam. Some places it's illegal to force somebody to take it to the dealer to keep a warranty in. But I mean, if it's them giving a warranty, those are just scams to get you to come in. They will just stick it to you 1,000 ways at the dealer, especially a luxury dealer, for maintenance, for things you don't need. I had a customer the other day bring one here. They said it needed $3,500 of maintenance, and I did $200, and that's all that it needed. So, you know, a lot of that stuff is just crooked BS. They're good vehicles. There's no arguing that. Personally, I'm not a fan of the all-wheel drive. Worse gas mileage, more expensive to repair. They weigh more. But, you know, take care of it. I think the warranty stuff is a bunch of BS as far as I'm concerned. They generally don't have powertrain problems in those anyways. And then half the time when you bring it in, they'll say, oh, the warranty doesn't cover that particular thing. It's a lot of BS. Stay away from those warranties. They don't generally mean anything. And if they say you got to bring it back to them, even more so. You're not a mechanic. How do you know what it needs and what it doesn't? And they'll just lie to you. I see it all the time. Superpower says, Scotty, a 03 Ford Mustang V6, 151,000 miles for $2,000. Should I get it? Drive it and see if you like it first. And if you do, pay a guy like me, a good mechanic, to check it out. If he checks it out and says it's okay, could be a decent car. It is a V6. The V8s, generally people rag them real hard. But it's a V6, so it's not as powerful. Sometimes guys drive more conservatively. It could be a good car, but you want a mechanic to check out, and now especially if it has a rebuilt or salvage title, ask to see the title. And if it is, don't even buy it, because then it was wrecked, flooded, or stolen. You don't ever want to get something that was like that. Have a mechanic check it out first. If he says it's okay, could be a decent car. $2,000 isn't much for a car these days, so could be a good deal. Ninja Slayer says, Scotty, what do you think of a 2000 Honda S2000 for 167,000 miles, $8,500? The owner says he was never aggressive or abused the car. He only uses it to go to school. Well, that's an awful lot of money, but realize people are starting to collect those. They don't make them anymore, and they were great little sports cars. But before you put any money out on that, demand to have a mechanic like me check it out. They're relatively complex sports cars. They have the first Honda VTEC engine that really works well, but some of that stuff breaks down over time. Let them put a scan tool on it, tell you what it's like, and then the price is just between you and the guy selling it. They are becoming more collector's items. The values are going up, but you want to make sure that it's in decent shape when you're buying it for that kind of money. Tarek says, Scotty, I'm following all your videos on YouTube. I like you very much. Please, I have a question. I got a 91 Lexus LS400 with 108,000 miles. Well, I was driving, a timing belt broke, and they're telling me the engine's damaged. All right. Yeah, unfortunately, that's one of the reasons I tell people not to buy the V8 versions. Being an interference engine, when those belts broke, pistons hit the valves, pretty much the car's junk. It's so old. It's a 91. You'd have to probably replace the engine, or you'd rebuild it. You'd have to change probably the heads and valves. It would cost so many thousands and thousands of dollars, you know, unless you were willing to take a gamble with a used engine from a junkyard. But it's such an old car. It's probably time to say goodbye on it. Takatabi says, Scotty, hope all's well. Been trying to get a question of mine in videos. Why are American Volkswagen so junky? A couple years ago, my family took a cross-country trip in an old Volkswagen, and it ran great. Yeah, because it was old, made in Germany. One of the big deals is that a lot of them sold here aren't even made in Germany anymore. The Europeans buy a lot of German-made ones, and they hold up better there. I came back from Europe a couple of years ago, and a lot of people drove them. They liked them. They were better made. The ones here, a lot of them aren't made in Germany. Got a lot of plastic crap on them. They're just not well made. Truthfully, I don't have a single customer in the last 20 years that bought a Volkswagen, ever bought another one, and they all, to a man and woman, said, that was the crappiest vehicle I've ever had. I'll never buy another one. Joseph72993 says, Scotty, when I'm idling, I barely press the gas. The RPMs go up a bit, stay there for a few seconds and go back down. What could it be? Well, you're not supposed to rev up a modern-day car. They're all computer-controlled. You didn't give the year, but I'm assuming it's a later model car, at least less than 15 years old. They all have computer software. They don't let you rev the engine up too high. When you start to rev it up, it'll go up, and then it'll drop back down because it's shutting it down. If your car runs perfectly fine when you're driving down the road, actually going where the computer knows the wheels are turning and you're going at a certain speed and not just sitting there with the speedometer stuck on 0, then hey, that's how they're designed these days. If it runs okay, don't sit there revving them up. Modern cars, you can't do that. They're not made for that stuff. The computer will make them drop down. So it's probably totally normal. If you're going down the road normal and it drives and it's just when you rev it up, stop revving it up. There's no reason to do that. Super Slump God says, Scotty, I'm doing a lot to my 2000 Celica GT, starting with daily performance. So is there a way to put ABS in the car? Hit the brakes, it slides a lot. Here's the problem. You add ABS to a car, it is so complex. I mean, it has to have an ABS modulator. On a stock Toyota, those things are like $1,500. And it has to have sensors at all the wheels that yours doesn't have. Then it has to have a computer that activates that system. It would cost a small fortune to actually do it. Now, you'll probably change your mind and say you'll live without it. Because all that computer stuff, and especially the modulator assembly, it's complex. The wiring's different. The sensors are different. Yeah, I wouldn't even try it if I were you. There's a company called Halo, and what they're doing is digital advertising. They pay you to put a digital sign on top of your car for advertising. To me, it sounds like something straight out of that science fiction movie Blade Runner. Not the crappy second one, but the original one with Harrison Ford. Advertisements on blimps flying around. Well, now they're going to be on the top of your car. It turns out that Lyft, the competitor to Uber, has bought them out. Uber has put a lot of money into side projects, which they kind of have been losing money at. They really haven't made anything, where Lyft is concentrating more on giving people rides and making money off of that system. So, of course, I'm assuming that a lot of people that are driving a Lyft will now put those digital signs on top of their cars for digital advertising. Now, me, you're not going to be able to go through a car wash. It's kind of annoying that you have this thing on top of your car. They're going to run them on a lot of Lyfts. Realize there are a lot of Lyft rides out there. The last quarter, they had 22.9 million rides on Lyft, so that's a lot of exposure for advertising companies. So interesting that Lyft bought Halo, the ones that have those advertising signs that put on cars. And if you're interested in it, hey, maybe you can contact Halo and they'll pay you to put a sign on top of your car. A little bit further than just wrapping the car with an advertisement. This will have a digital thing on top. Here we go. Don't say I don't warn you about buying Korean cars. Kia just recalls 229,000 Sorrentos and Sedonas for a fire risk. Turns out that an anti-lock brake module, computer part, can start on fire. Not only can your car start on fire, but that's in the braking system. Maybe your car will start on fire and the brakes won't work too. You could have a 2-for-1 there. The company Kia says, oh, people shouldn't worry because we have a fix for that. They're going to put a relay in line. It's kind of a real jerry-rigged thing so that it'll stop it from having a fire. The relay would shut off if it started to get too hot. They got to recall 229,000 of these things because of a fire risk. And like I said, what if the brakes don't work and your car starts on fire? Quality of the Korean cars, it's not there. It just isn't. And when they started to mass produce them more in the United States, they've had even more problems. In the past, they've had engine problems with the engines not being made right there. Me, I'd stay away from them myself. Oreo J says, Scotty, I'm driving a 2008 Honda Civic with about 107,000 miles. I hear it whining when it's cold, but it goes away and it warms up and it does it more when I turn the wheel. First thing you want to do, check your power steering fluid. If you're low on power steering fluid, it'll do the same thing. Knowing Hondas, it's probably full of fluid, and if it is, it means the pump is starting to wear. But I've had people drive them years that way if they didn't mind that little bit of noise. The only reason I tell people to change them, unless they absolutely can't stand the noise, is when they start to bind steering, then you got to change the pump. But they can make noise for a long time and still work perfectly fine. But do check the fluid, because being low on fluid, do the same thing. Jay Mediano says, Scotty, I'm a big fan. I was wondering what it means. I got my catalytic converter fixed, but it still shows the same code. Here lays the level of complexity of modern cars. You can get a code that'll say your catalytic converter is inefficient, right? Don't necessarily just go and change the cat, because there's about a dozen different reasons that code can pop. The cat could be bad. The oxygen sensors, either before or after, could be bad. You could have an engine that's running too lean. You could have an engine that's running too rich. Lots of things can trip that code. To add kind of fuel to the fire that you're probably already feeling, if you didn't use an OEM factory catalytic converter, some cars you can't use an aftermarket one. It won't work. I've seen Nissans that if you didn't use the factory one and you bought an aftermarket one at a discount auto parts store, wouldn't fix the problem. So it gets complex. That's why when you get stuff like that, you have to pay an excellent mechanic to analyze it. Don't just guess. But if you want a wild guess of mine, change the back oxygen sensor, the one after the catalytic converter. Because a lot of times when that goes bad, it trips the code even though it's not actually bad. So you could try that as a wild guess and pray that fixes it. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.